The stars were silent, as the human soldier named Ryan drifted through the cold void of space, his ship broken, his body weak, his mind filled with memories of battles and faces long gone. He had survived wars that burned worlds and shattered moons, yet he never expected to be found by the one who would change everything as his ship floated lifeless among the ruins of a forgotten battlefield. A blinding light cut through the darkness, and from it emerged a vessel, unlike any human design, sleek and alive with strange energy. It pulled his wrecked ship inside its shimmering core before he could move, before he could even breathe. He felt the hum of alien machinery around him, the walls glowing like living skin. He fell to the floor, and the air filled with the scent of something sweet, something almost human. When his eyes opened, he saw her. She was tall, radiant, her skin glimmered faintly silver under the ship lights, her eyes wide and filled with tears of disbelief. She whispered words in a language unknown, yet he understood them deep inside his mind. She said, "You returned, you really returned." Human, he could not speak, his throat dry, his mind clouded with confusion. She knelt beside him, touching his chest, her hand warm but trembling. She said, "My name is Lara, princess of the Seraphian crown world. You do not remember, but you saved me once." Ryan blinked, trying to make sense of her words. He had never seen her before, or so he thought, yet when her hand touched his face, he saw flashes of memory. World bathed in violet light, a crash landing, his wounded body dragged from fire by hands soft and desperate, her face younger, afraid. And the promise he made to her to return when the stars aligned again. The memories faded like smoke. And he whispered, "How do you know me?" The princess looked down, tears falling silently. "Because you are the father of my child." The words struck him harder than any weapon. His heart raced, his breath shallow. He tried to deny it, to think it was a dream, but her voice broke with pain. "You cannot go, human. You promised me you would come back. Our child needs you." He rose slowly, his body trembling, the weight of her words pressing deep. He saw in her eyes not a lie, but truth carved in sorrow. He asked, "Where is the child?" She turned away, the light around her dimming. She said, "He is dying." Ryan followed her through the glowing corridors until they reached a chamber filled with liquid light. Inside floated a small form, a child with faint silver hair, and human eyes closed as if sleeping machines pulsed softly around him. The princess touched the glass, her voice shaking. "His name is Aaron. He was born weak, his blood not pure enough to survive the energy of our world. I brought him here, hoping that one day you would return and give him the strength of your human spirit." Ryan stared at the boy, something inside him breaking. He could not deny it now. The child looked like him, the same jawline, the same faint scar on the left cheek, the same restless energy even in stillness. He asked, "How can I help?" She told him, hope flickering in her eyes. "The ancient bond must be awakened between father and child. You must share your life force with him. It will hurt, you may die, but he may live." Ryan looked at her, the memories clearer now. The night of fire, the promise whispered beneath the twin moons. He had loved her once and left to protect her world from his own kind. He never knew she carried his child. Now the cost of that war stood before him. He placed his hand on the glass, feeling warmth pulsing faintly beneath the surface. The boy stirred slightly, his eyes flickering open for a moment. They met the father's gaze, and the universe seemed to stop. The child smiled weakly and whispered, "Father," before falling back into slumber. Ryan turned to Liara and said, "Do it." She hesitated, her voice breaking. "If you do this, you may not survive." He smiled faintly. Humans are stubborn like that. She reached out, pressing her palm against his chest, light spreading from her touch through his veins into the chamber. The air grew heavy, the ship trembling, energy crackling through the walls, the link between father and child glowing brighter until it blinded them both. Pain seared through his body, but he did not stop. He heard Lara calling his name, begging him to hold on. The machines screamed, the energy surged, and then silence. When the light faded, Ryan fell to his knees, gasping. The glass chamber now still. He looked up, fearing the worst, but then he saw Aaron sitting inside, eyes open, bright, full of life. The boy pressed his hand against the glass, smiling. Ryan smiled back, barely able to breathe. Lara ran to him, holding him as he collapsed in her arms. She whispered, "You saved him. You kept your promise." But his vision blurred, the world fading. Her tears fell onto his face. She screamed for the healers, for the machines, for anything to keep him alive. But he could only see the stars beyond the ship, cold and endless. He whispered, "Promise me one thing, take him to Earth, teach him what it means to be human." Lara held his face close, saying, "No, I will not let you go. You cannot go, human. You are the father of my child." The ship's lights dimmed, the heartbeat of the vessel slowing as if mourning him. But somewhere deep inside, Ryan felt warmth, not pain, a pulse from the child. Through the bond he had given everything, but something was giving back. His body glowed faintly, the energy flowing in reverse. Lara gasped. The child was sharing his life force back to him. The cycle complete. The ship roared with renewed light. Ryan coughed, breathing again, his eyes meeting hers. She smiled through tears, saying, "He chose you too." He laughed weakly, saying, "Looks like he got your stubbornness, not mine." She laughed softly, holding him close. The stars outside shimmered, and the ship moved forward through the void. Ryan knew the war was far from over, But for the first time he felt something stronger than duty or fear. He felt family. Liara whispered sleep. Now human, we are safe. For tonight he closed his eyes, hearing the faint laughter of his son, and the hum of the ship carrying them to a future. Unknown, the darkness took him, not with pain but peace, and somewhere beyond the stars destiny waited, patient, silent, and infinite. The stars stretched endless around the Seraphian ship, as Ryan awoke, his body heavy, his breath shallow, yet his heart still beating faintly beside him. Liara sat, eyes half closed, her hand on his chest, whispering a soft song that echoed through the air like a heartbeat of light. The sound carried memories of peace, a sound that once belonged to her people before war and fear tore them apart. He turned his head, seeing through the glass, where the child Aaron slept peacefully, energy swirling gently around him, the boy. Alive and glowing with both human and alien essence, Ryan smiled faintly, whispering, "He is strong like his mother." Liara looked at him, eyes shimmering. "You gave him life again, human. He carries your strength. But your body cannot hold much longer. The bond took too much from you." He tried to rise, but pain gripped him like a storm, his vision fading, but he forced a grin. "I have survived worse." She shook her head softly. "Humans, and their pride you will never learn." Before he could reply, a low alarm filled the ship, the walls glowing red. Her eyes widened as she touched the console. "They found us." Ryan frowned. "Who, the enemy?" She nodded. "The Seraphian Council. They consider Aaron an abomination, half human, half Seraphian. They want to erase him before the prophecy is fulfilled." Ryan clenched his fists. "Prophecy? What prophecy?" Liara whispered. "A legend foretold that a child of two worlds would one day unite the stars and end the endless war between human and Seraphian bloodlines. They fear him, they fear what he could become." The ship shook as plasma fire struck its shields, energy crackling through the corridors. Liara shouted, "We must leave now." Ryan forced himself to stand, staggering toward the cockpit. She tried to stop him, but he said, "No more running. They want a fight. They will get one." She saw the determination in his eyes and followed him. Together they reached the bridge, stars flashing across the viewport as enemy ships surrounded them, dark spires glowing with blue fire. Liara's fingers danced over the controls, summoning the defense grids. But their power was weak. The bonding had drained too much of the ship's core. Ryan looked toward the sleeping child, his heart heavy. "We cannot let them take him." She turned, her gaze fierce and cold. "They will not." He gripped the pilot's controls, feeling the old fire of battle return, even in this alien craft. His instincts came alive. The enemy vessels closed in, but Ryan twisted the ship sharply between their beams, weaving through chaos like a predator in the void. Explosions flared outside, light tearing through darkness. Liara sent pulses of energy from the ship's cannons, each shot tearing holes in the enemy line. But they kept coming, more and more. The council had sent their fleet to end them. Ryan shouted, "We can't outrun them." She pressed a glowing crystal on the console. "There is one way." The heart jump, "It will tear space itself, but it could destroy us all." He laughed. "If it means saving him, then do it." She stared at him, her eyes trembling. "Human, you do not understand. The heart jump draws power from the one who commands it. It will take my life." He froze, shaking his head. "No. We find another way." She smiled sadly. "Your way is always hope. My way is sacrifice." Before he could move, she pressed her hand to the ship's core, the light expanding through her body, energy rising like a storm. She whispered, "Take care of him. Promise me you will." Ryan grabbed her hand, shouting, "No, you can't." She looked into his eyes, tears shimmering, and said, "Tell him his mother loved him more than the stars." The ship roared with thunder, the space around them bending, tearing apart, light folding inward. Everything went white. When Ryan opened his eyes, there was silence. The enemy fleet gone, the stars changed unfamiliar, the ship floating in calm void. He looked around, but Liara was gone, her chair empty, only faint traces of light. Where she had stood, he felt his knees, whispering her name again and again. No answer, only the soft hum of the ship's heart beating slower and slower. Then a small voice called behind him, "Father." Ryan turned. Aaron stood weak but alive, his silver hair glimmering, his human eyes bright. He ran to his son, holding him close, tears falling freely. "She is gone," the boy whispered. "She saved us, didn't she?" Ryan nodded. "Yes. She saved us both." They drifted for days across the unknown void, searching for any sign of life, the ship nearly broken, its systems failing. Ryan repaired what he could, teaching the boy old human songs, old tales of Earth, to keep him smiling. The boy asked often about his mother, and Ryan told him. She was light, she was fire, she was love. After many nights, the ship detected a faint beacon, a planet nearby, blue and green like home Earth. He whispered with disbelief. They descended through clouds, landing on a field of silver grass, beneath twin moons. The world quiet, untouched. They stepped out together, feeling wind for the first time in what felt like forever. Aaron laughed, running through the grass, his laughter echoing across the valley. Ryan smiled, watching him, but something inside him hurt. The bond had taken too much. He knew his time was near. He spent the next days building shelter, teaching Aaron to survive, teaching him to speak both human and Seraphian words, teaching him that he was not a curse, but a bridge between worlds, The boy learned fast, his eyes bright with curiosity, his heart strong one night as the stars burned. Bright above, the boy asked, "Father, will you take me to see her someday?" Ryan looked up at the sky and said, "One day, yes, when the stars call us home. She will be waiting the next morning." The sky burned with light again. Ships appeared, not of war but peace, a united fleet bearing both human and Seraphian symbols. They had come searching, guided by a signal left in Liara's sacrifice. Ryan watched as they landed, emissaries stepping forward, their faces full of awe. When they saw the boy, they bowed, the prophecy fulfilled. The child of two worlds alive. Ryan could barely stand, his strength fading. He placed his hand on Aaron's shoulder and said, "Lead them, my son, show them that the blood of man and Seraphian can heal what hate destroyed." The boy nodded, tears in his eyes. "Father, come with me." Ryan smiled softly. "Not this time, you must go." He handed him the crystal heart that once powered the ship. "Take this. It holds her memory. When you are lost, it will guide you." The boy hugged him tightly, refusing to let go. Ryan whispered, "You are my light, my legacy. Never forget who you are." Aaron pulled back, his eyes glowing faintly, silver and blue intertwined, energy swirling around him. The fleet began to rise, the people watching as the boy stepped forward, light spreading from his body across the land, healing the broken soil, awakening flowers that glowed like stars. Ryan fell to the ground, watching his son fulfill the destiny foretold. He closed his eyes, feeling warmth and peace. Then a voice, gentle and familiar, whispered inside his mind, "You kept your promise." Human, he opened his eyes, seeing Liara's form shimmering in the light, smiling down at him. She reached out her hand, "Come home." He smiled one last time, looking at the boy at the new dawn rising. Then took her hand, the light consumed him, and he was gone in the sky above. Two streaks of light danced together, merging into one and vanishing among the stars. Aaron looked up, tears shining. But he smiled, whispering, "I will make you proud, mother, father." The people gathered around him, kneeling in respect. The legend had begun, the war was over, peace was born from love that defied galaxies. And in the endless night, the stars sang their story forever, the alien princess who trembled, the human who stayed, and the child who united worlds, their names written in the light of eternity. The stars glowed quiet above the new world, as peace settled across the joined alliance of human and Seraphian worlds. Aaron grew quickly, his mind vast, his strength beyond what either race had ever known, the child of two bloods, the living bridge of unity, yet deep inside him the echo of his parents' sacrifice pulsed like a sleeping flame. He dreamed often of his father standing beside the alien princess of light, their voices whispering across the stars, telling him that peace was fragile, and that shadows never truly die. As he stood upon the hill, overlooking the city of glass towers and floating gardens, Aaron felt the wind shift, a tremor of energy humming beneath the surface of the world. Something was awakening far beyond their reach. He closed his eyes, and the vision came, a dark fleet rising from the edge of the void, ships older than any recorded history, their hulls alive with crimson fire, their eyes empty and cold. He gasped, waking from the trance. The council gathered soon after, their faces filled with fear. When he spoke of what he saw, they said it was impossible, the void realms had been sealed for centuries. But he felt the truth deep within, the bond that tied him to the universe, his blood a key to what had been locked long ago. He told them, "We must prepare." They did not listen, believing peace, eternal fools, to think that light can exist without shadow. That night, as the moons rose high above the silver forests, a signal burst through the sky. A sound like the cry of a dying star. The horizon burned, with red light, ships emerging from the void, tearing through the fabric of space. Aaron ran to the command spire, calling for defense grids, but the energy faltered, something was draining their power from within. He looked at the sky and saw them vast and endless, creatures made of metal and flame, the ancient harvesters from the forgotten war, long before humans or Seraphians existed. They had come again, drawn by the bond of his mixed blood, the perfect energy they sought to consume. As the world burned, he reached deep into the crystal heart his father had given him, and whispered, "Mother, father, guide me." Light burst through him, his body glowing brighter than the sun's. He rose into the sky, meeting the darkness head on. His voice echoed through the air, "Leave this world," he shouted. But the harvesters spoke in a single voice, "You carry the seed of creation and destruction, we will take it from you." Their beams struck him, but he stood unbroken, the bond between his bloodlines awakening within every human and Seraphian across the galaxies. They felt his call, their spirits joining with his, the unity his parents dreamed of, now alive in the hearts of all. He raised his hands, energy swirling, a storm of light and shadow merging. The sky cracked, the seas roared, the mountains lifted into the air, and from the depths of the world, the old Seraphian cause awakened power from the age of gods, feeding his light. He drove the harvesters back one by one, burning their ships into dust. But the energy grew too strong, threatening to tear him apart, his body trembling, his heart pounding. He heard his mother's voice, soft and clear, "Let go, my son, you cannot fight forever." He cried, "I will not let them take what you built." His Father's voice followed. Calm and steady peace is not won by endless war, it is kept by those who remember who they are. Aaron closed his eyes, tears falling, the light inside him shifting from rage to love. He released the storm not as a weapon, but as a wave of harmony spreading through the enemy ships. Instead of destroying them, he changed them. Their metal forms turned to living crystal, their minds, filled with awareness, the darkness inside them fading. They became silent, then bowed before him, the voice of the harvesters. Now gentle, we were blind now. We see. He fell to his knees, the light fading, his strength gone. But his spirit alive, the people below watched in awe, the sky clearing, the stars returning brighter than before. The council declared the end of all wars, the birth of a new era. And named Aaron the guardian of the stars. Years passed, the world healed. The alliance grew, reaching new galaxies, spreading peace. Where none existed, Aaron travelled among them, teaching the way of unity, his eyes forever glowing faintly with the light of his parents' legacy. One night, as he stood alone on the highest spire, he looked to the horizon and saw two lights dancing in the sky, one golden, one blue. They circled each other, then merged, becoming one. He smiled, whispering, "I did it, mother, father, your dream lives on." But as he turned to leave, he felt a cold wind, a whisper from beyond time, something older than the harvesters, older than creation itself, a voice that said the cycle never ends, and soon the stars will bleed again. Aaron froze, his heart trembling. He looked up, the constellations shifting slowly, forming a new pattern, a warning. He knew then that the story was not over, that every piece is only a pause between storms. He placed his hand on the crystal heart, now dim, and said, "If the stars bleed, then so will I, until light returns." He stepped into the portal of starlight, his form dissolving into energy, traveling beyond galaxies, seeking the source of the coming darkness. The legend would say that the guardian of two worlds walked the endless void, forever watching, forever protecting, forever carrying the love that began with an alien princess and a human who refused to let go. The stars remember their names, whispering them through eternity. Liara, Ryan, Aaron, the family that taught the universe what it means to be alive, what it means to love beyond worlds, what it means to be human.